a little bit of a shocker to me as well.
Really well. And yes, observing, of course, is still not smooth either.
You want me? Come get me.
Oh man.
What's going
Getting
on?
the old chat.
Nicely done.
No, there was a bit
no,
of
hat Max. Yes.
an incident.
Yes, there were a couple, especially with Gremlo, of course. One is always to stir the pot.
Good stuff. But yeah. Be careful not to play too good in your pubs or in your pro matches. People will accuse you of hacking.
So it's a high honor. It's a high honor. And it's also a high honor to see the return from Alpha. A couple of these big names. I believe Monster played a season down in SA. So, of course, he is certainly no stranger. But Flea has taken a little bit of time off, as has Pingu. Pingu, I believe, last on the cut. Oh, boy, there's some new Dota TV glitches that are fun. Pingu, of course, but Flea especially, I think, has been on a break for a while. I can't quite remember the last big team he was on.
I think he was in Division 2 last season as well.
Was he?
Just trying to take it easy.
The battle begins.
Which, like, I seem to remember his team, like, usually something went wrong and then a couple of minutes after they'd perk right up and make a move or something. It was quite noticeable that there was somebody who was like, alright, fine, I'll do it again.
That's right, he was on 2-based. How could I forget? Big fan of Flea, especially here on the Mirana. Like I said, it is a signature hero of his, and that'll show as they do pair it with the Bane. So expect some spicy rotations on towards the middle lane.
There will be screaming.
And they've got a great lineup for vision between this Beastmaster and this Mirana. Their ability to take engagements here is significantly better than that of the Happy Seals.
Well, that's true. The team fight is looking a little bit stronger, I'd say, for Happy Seals, however. You know, Marcy, again, the queen of pickoffs, as well as laning skirmishes, but overall and through the game, as soon as that level 6 is online, Winter Wyvern's Curse is going to be a very, very big deal for Alpha to deal with.
Yep, I did get that double combo breaker set up because, of course, the Kunkka is also very good at turning these clustered team fights around. And Kunkka should have a very decent time up in this top lane versus the Mirana Beastmaster. A lot of good armor, and this harass from the Arctic Burn.
Oh yeah, the buffs that Wyvern receiving really helping out there as DK will go ahead and pick up that kill. First blood with the Tidebringer cleave. It's a big one here early on. This lane of the Beastmaster and Rana, not particularly a weak one, but certainly does get a lot stronger at level 3 here for the Beastmaster, getting that second points. Although not this time around, because it is actually going to be the Axis build, it would appear, for Beastmaster, compared to the Boars.
Yeah, I don't actually think you can run the Boars in this lane. There's too much distance from both the splash damage as well from the Arctic Burn to actually cross. Splinter Blast is going to come in. It's, I can see why he's going Axis, even if that's not really ideal, and I'm expecting him to maybe actually go for a Soul Ring to fuel that as well.
Now
He's
just
got a Sage's Mask queued up.
Yeah, just the early Helm, getting that armor to deal with a lot of that bonus damage, the splash and physical damage that you're just talking about. We'll focus down bottom a little bit more because I'm eager to see this Happy Seals lineup kind of start to get to work, as you know, I've spoke very highly of the Marcy buff here now that she has it rebound at level 2 with a very high move speed hero, or a hero that benefits from move speed. Going to be a bit difficult to make it work versus this safe lane Quap, however.
Yep. Clever pick, just take the Quap, put it in whatever lane the Razor is going into, and she can always get out of reach, and for sure turn around on that Marcy if she ever goes for her. There's enough time on that blink to always react as well.
TP in mid instead. Wave is pushing here for Radiant, just slightly, but it looks like it's just going to be just a TP mid and just to say hello to your friend, and then you're going to run back down bottom. Okay.
Okay. I mean, maybe they were hoping that this TA was committing to the push of the wave in, and you can dispose her under the tower.
Dispose of her.
Yeah. She's not going to let her be disposed of.
No, she will
so
not. Instead,
easily.
it's Monster who's going to be sent through the wash. That torrent nicely connecting thanks to the move speed slow of the Winter's Arctic Burn, pardon me. And Flea unable to do really much about this. He is saving onto these 2 skill points from level 2 and 3. Only the single point in arrow thus far taken. Not really sure, I guess, what he's decided on he can do. You know, usually you take leap if you want to trade more in lane. You're a bit more efficient. You can dodge some spells, or you can, I mean, I guess just take more points into arrow and Starstorm and look to farm a bit more. So far, hasn't quite decided on what he wants to do.
And I guess there hasn't really been time for either here. He's just been using the arrow to secure range creeps and then staying out of dodge whenever that Winter Wyvern comes out, because he can, even if you take the leap here, you cannot trade with that Wyvern burn.
Yeah, seriously, especially in its buffed form, it is very good, to say the least. An extra 2-second duration on just the flight duration, of course, is king in lane for a lot of these heroes that normally excel in lane trading. Kind of shuts them down. And same, actually, speaking of saving points, 1 point being saved currently by Monster, as he's considering maybe, I guess, a point in the summons, or maybe that 2nd point in the inner beast. So lots of, you know, points being saved by Alpha currently.
Yeah. I'm really struggling with the passing there as well. Oof.
Yeah. I guess.
And we haven't really... yeah.
I just wanted to say, I guess, like, in a way, this just kind of shows, like, their lanes are not winning lanes, are there? If you're forced to, or if you feel like the optimal play is to just save skill points, like, I guess that just means the skills aren't good in lane, straight up.
Yep. Since as well as going for the level of the boar now, probably hoping that he's going to get to use it now that the Winter Wyvern is going to roam more. And he did see her move towards that mid lane.
Yeah, Flea as well.
Rises.
Is giving chase. Oh, the rebound from downtown as Rises will be stuck inside of the Sprout. Refraction removed in a second as Flea at least connects, and Arrow leaps back up to the high ground, putting his skill points to work here. Finally, 1-2-1. Is able to trade away, at the very least, the Marcy, but it's a pretty big loss here for Alpha, especially as Vol is going to continue pushing here. And with the wagon, they could get in some tower damage here, Coops.
Radiant structures.
Yeah, and he even, I think he did that on purpose.
Arrow is going to be finding Vol as Pingu looking to set up for a bit more damage. Wyvern and the Treants getting to work on him, and with Rises respawning, that'll put a stop to this one.
I legit think that Vol stepped in there to save the catapult from the incoming arrow. That was always going to happen, and they did have the heal next to them. Not too much of a risk, as Rises was not going to respawn in time, but they don't get to save the catapult anyway.
Here they go again. No. Arrow dodge once again into the Sprout, and Refraction removed. TA disposed of. Deleted. Yep. Tossed into the bin, and Flea could be next, but he leaps himself out. So far, anyway, as Vol is not yet at that 20 talents early on in the game, but more pressure mid still. A second dispose. This Bane is going to save himself here from one right click, but there's going to be another to follow courtesy of Vol. That's another 2 kills here in the mid lane in favor of Happy Seals. The siege continues.
Yep, and this is
alrighty. Soul's gonna say hello to Vol with the Sonic Wave Scream of Pain combo that'll at least trade away the mid laner. So mid for mid, but this TA is gonna have to walk back to the jungle, I guess. I would say lane, but I don't know if she has any more business being here.
I would not want to come back to the mid lane if I was her. Like, Soul got a great rotation there, but now this is definitely the terrain of the Bane. Get some last hits here, get your levels up, make sure that you have a support with the full defensive kit for the next time that this Marcy comes in. Because yeah, that was the Marcy I was expecting to see the first couple of times I saw her in pro games, and that didn't really happen. Well, here she is. This amount of mobility plus the forcible displacement, especially against low mobility heroes like this TA, are massive.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Soul even putting a healthy amount of respect. He did catch a glimpse of Marcy there, and this is, you know, a hero that kind of counters the Razor, not even willing to risk it. Definitely respecting the move speed buff, the flat out move speed buff you'd be getting. 335 here without any points in the Storm Surge. You get that 45% move speed buff. You're just shy of 500 move speed. 8 minutes into the game, what do you do against that? Blink's not saving you.
Well, I was about to say, not blink out, but he's going to have to do that anyway.
Yes, he is. A clever blink, though, as the Marcy's not going to quite be able to find him.
Yeah, you blink to a place where they can't run to, because that's your only hope, that Razor will catch up to you no matter how far away you thought you jumped. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and it just kind of feels like top lane didn't go too poorly. I mean, 2 deaths from Monster, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, opposite, I suppose, but mid and bottom certainly have not gotten a lot of momentum so far from Alpha. Where do they hope to try and get their first foothold in this game?
Rorius on top.
Oh, into the arrow. This could be the opening they're looking for onto DK, especially if they can't get the rum buff applied. But DK, rum buff incoming. The heals last second from Salacious Sea Lion. They're going to even lock down this Quap using that Winter's Curse. DK continuing to tank through it. Even tanks the Sonic Wave. The last auto attack, still not enough. He lives through it. The rum buff, that's some high-proof rum right there. And the arrow from Flea as well, just barely will whisk by DK. He lives. Alpha will use 2 ultimates, Kips, here, and they don't even get a single kill.
God, yes. It's. I was going to say, well, you said top lane didn't go too awful. It's pretty awful because you need the inner beast levels in order to push through that tower usually. But you know, you can bring heroes in, you can make the kill happen, and then you can do it anyway because the Beastmaster is the one who needs to get a tower down somewhere, anywhere, presumably here. And now it didn't happen. They spent so much on that. Their only hope now is that, and it looks like that's happening, he has the Dominator ready, and the Kunkka has backed off, so it looks like Happy Seals are going to be content with the kills that they got just now, the slowdown that they got just now, and they will allow him to push through that top tower right now.
Seems like it'll come at a cost.
They're going to look like mid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Sure, you might acquiesce the mid, or sorry, your top safe lane tower, but of course you're going to be gathering and mustering even for a mid lane push instead. Seems like Alpha not really going to be able to contest this as they just drop the Fortify, and even without the Siege Wagon, Happy Seals won't be able to take that tier 1 tower without much of a fight. Monster, at least to his credit, finally gets that tier 1 top. So a little bit of space created, but so far Happy Seals moving and going so far wherever they please.
Yep, they've got a lot more momentum right now. They've also got a nice ward waiting in the Radiant jungle already. There's no such vision in the Dire jungle for the Radiant side. So they don't really have a way to set up ganks right now. They'll have to find the kills on their side of the map.
And he might be disposed of here, even without the reach now. The Arctic Burn damage not enough. Now looking for revenge is going to be Pingu. TP is incoming, but will be cancelled. That's the NP, of course, so we can recast that and go back on in should they choose to do so. Good defensive wards from Alpha, at least alerts them rather to the incoming presence of the Razor, so they won't be baited into taking an even worse engagement. But again, are simply just losing map control. There's not much they can do about it right now.
Yep, they've been pressed into like this sort of side slice of the map while the Nature's Prophet is happily taking Ancients. Double King clearing out the mid and most of his own jungle still.
This is one of those moments which is just simply, at least for a lot of these teams, you're going to see them kind of just sit back and continue farming. And if you take a look at it, why? It's because I can't draw on the map. Oh no, Kips. Dota TV is broken.
Oh no.
Okay, well, you're just going to have to follow along my camera. Basically, from this top tier 2 tower, Dire tower that they have, all the way down to their outpost, basically you draw that line straight down to Radiant tier 2, and that's all Happy Seals territory right now. Just obviously not underneath Radiant tier 2. That's so much farm that they're getting. Again, compared to these heavy farm cores, like, well, basically just this TA. She is not a fast hero. She's not a hero that gets her one item and goes to fight like an Ursa or like a Riki or something. She needs time. And, well, the time is going to be further delayed here, given that she's got just no space to farm.
Yeah, and she's got the Blink Dagger queued up earlier than the finishing of the Desolator here, which is usually an indication that these TAs are considering joining fights earlier than they'd really want to. Like, if a TA feels safe to do whatever she wants, you buy the Deso first, you go to Blink after.
Top tower
This is Rises has the possibility open of coming in.
It's a pretty good way of checking for a ward. Oh, but it's going to get their own ward dewarded. That was neat. Sending the courier up there to see if they had vision. They didn't. Unfortunately, it comes at the expense of your own vision as they make a play for Rises. Sprout is going to miss, though, from Vol. So that'll just be simply a TA escaping. Arrow from Fleet does actually find a mark. It's DK, though, and he is very tanky. 1700 HP without Armlet activated, so they're not going to make a play for that.
That's slightly confusing, calling Double King DK. Yeah, Dragon Knight does have a lot of armor. Wait.
I thought you meant like maybe you thought he was like Donkey Kong or something. That's where I was gonna go.
He does like playing these melee brawlers for sure.
That's true. That is very much true. I think I saw him a lot on Sven last season as well. Orchid down bottom here. It is going to catch the Queen of Pain, trying to TP out, but it's going to be disposed, and even the punches coming from Marcy there on the Unleash. It has been a strong showing from the Marcy this game, I would say. I think Marcy haters will point to this game and say, Valve, she needs to be nerfed.
Yes, and to be honest, I'm right there with him because it's really all about the kit. Like, having this much mobility and the displacement, plus like a TP cancel as well.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Oh, and they've got a hero here. It is Flea, who is buying some good space and time. Even going for the D ward. Boat is not going to be in time. That is going to be a TP out from Flea and an ulti wasted for Double King. And perhaps an opening for Alpha. This ulti not only, I mean, it's one of the best ultis in the game, I think, right at level 6. It allows Kunkka to fight early, but also its defensive utility is off the charts. Point in case this top tier 1 tower gank, right? So this being on cooldown for a minute may be an opening for Alpha, but I don't know if they're feeling as confident.
No, I don't know either. The Queen of Pain is working on a Yule Scepter right now, which is in this day and age a pretty sad thing to see.
Yeah.
That's not any aggressive utility. It's also not a BKB. But versus the X marks and versus the Orchid coming in right now as well, like it does seem like a good option.
Okay.
If you want to also increase your farm speed, especially because this happens otherwise.
There it is. Quap is going to die. I was watching mid lane where Double King is the victim of a Fiend's Grip, but there's just no damage. Even with the Blink Dagger on a rise, it's going to be an armlet mistoggle, however, allows Pingu to sap up DK's lovely, delicious brain. There's at least a kill there, and now they're looking for more. A good blink forward there by Rises. He looks to nuke through Salacious Sea Lion. He cuts through him and looks for the Marcy next. Dispose is not going to be enough here to get through Flea. And it's going to be a 3-for-1 trade here in favor of Alpha.
This is why you buy the Blink Dagger over on the TA if you want to help your team out when they're in a pickle. Because that was some nice usage.
I got to say there as well,
crossing the distance.
Not having Boat, I think playing a bit of a big difference there as well for the Kunkka. Probably wouldn't have, I mean, he could have turned, to be honest. I think if you Boat and X mark the TA, your tier 1 tower is still up. You call the boys in and have a little bit of a skirmish, but not having that opportunity is going to make things a lot better here for Alpha, who clean up that tier 1 tower now. And because they have the TA, granted, no Desolator first or second item, but still being on Radiant's side, the threat of Roche is now starting to loom here over Happy Seals.
Yep. Yeah, and especially with the Beastmaster on the top line, they're going to have to start guarding it. Yeah, they're already trying to smoke up to him, but they just got intercepted by Flea.
Flea is going to be brought back here, disposed, not leapt. Now there's the leap charge, but not out of range there of that Shadow Blade cosmetic that Double King has. I was wondering what that was.
Very nice. But yeah, what I was gonna say is that now they need to be extra careful to not lose this outpost, because that is the last vestige of their Roche control slipping away, and the Beastmaster would love to set up on that top lane there.
That's a good point. He's got most of the push now online and ready to go. Pardon me, just lacking a little bit of extra money for the Hymn of the Overlord to get that Ancient and really buff up the push. But he is slowly getting there.
Yeah.
Alpha,
this is not a bad timing.
It's not a bad timing, especially considering how poorly his lane went. I'd absolutely agree to that. Oh, they're going to smoke on this DD rune, though. Tib, the smoke will break. It's Rises with an Invis rune, not even Moonlight Shadow there.
Again.
They will use Moonlight Shadow, and down bottom, actually, it's Pingu who has caught Vol into the arrow. Here's Solus while the follow-up. No Sonic Wave. Well, I was going to say needed, but to secure the kill, Alpha are going to go ahead and let loose.
Demonstration of dominance right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a little bit risky because this is also most of their magical or let's say non-physical burst damage. Have to be a little bit careful that Happy Seals does not decide to take a fight just now, because this Razor is actually rather close to a BKB. I don't think he's going to have it in time, but if he would have it, this would have been a timing for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of a timing, normally I'm not one to really hype up this item too much. Arrow mid from Flea is going to just miss the Razor, who is close to BKB. He's going to have it after this wave. Roche is starting up now with the Deso on TA, which is a big item, significantly increases their damage output. However, can't auto attack if you're halberded, and that's going to be a 5-second disarm thanks to Kunkka now picking that item up. Doesn't seem like they'll be in time for this Roche though. Quite surprising. They must know something's going on as DK will throw a torrent into the pit. That's a full Wraith Pact ready to go already here. As in goes now Marcy. She's going to eat a roar, but the boat incoming will actually secure Roche. It's Monster forced to grab the Aegis as Double King is going to be Fiend's Grip. They do end up breaking that though as Pingu is being ran down, but the kill onto Double King will go through nonetheless. Monster equipped with the Aegis will lead them uphill. As the TA, not enough damage for the Razor, will turn back at least for Wyvern, but it will be Tib who falls to the axes eventually of Monster. And that is everything Alpha have wanted, and even more potentially as they now find themselves squarely back in this game.
Absolutely, and this is how much difference 30 seconds can make. If you have that BKB on the Razor 30 seconds earlier, no way they're not in position for that. And they will take that fight with a BKB Razor versus no Sonic Wave. That's going to be so much rougher for Alpha, but instead they have to scramble because they're late.
Yeah, just a bit late. They don't get the kill on the Roche bounty. They don't get the Aegis either onto the Templar Assassin, but everything else goes swimmingly in that fight, so they can't complain too much. Rises might blink after this kill, but is not buffed by Aegis. The arrow from Flea as well is not going to connect, and instead actually could be Soul in trouble, using that Yule Scepter now to at least get the blink off, and now maybe a little bit of counter initiation coming as Flea, supported by Rises, coming through from the side. They do see Tib, but are not confident in making a jump. They want vision here on the Wyvern first.
Exactly. This is actually still a very hard team to engage into because of the threat of that Wyvern, the boat, as well as a Marcy suddenly coming in and flipping things around on you. So they have to choose their engagements carefully. This TA can tear several of her teammates to shreds if a good ult comes out from that Wyvern.
Yeah, probably just about anyone. And not only that, outside of Sonic Wave, your damage is pretty limited, at least quickly on in these fights, as we'll see them make an effort here onto the Razor. There's going to be, the Link combo with the Curse, as even Rise is actually blinking into for a couple auto attacks onto Monster. Sonic Wave will pick up the kill through the BKB, but Monster will lose the first life. Seems like Happy Seals are content with that, and will simply back off. It's a Wraith Pack, silly me. I thought it was Helm of the Overlord, pardon.
You know what? I didn't correct you because I thought the same.
Yeah. I was like, certainly he's going to go for this, and no, not quite certainly. Okay, arrow onto Marcy, free kill for Fleet. Nicely done. Doesn't even lose the ward. There's the shard freshly picked up there for Monster, immediately putting that dive bomb Hawk to use. And now it's just kill after kill for Alpha as they find themselves, I mean, the pendulum swings one way and swiftly back the other, as Rises is now the one to go wherever he pleases.
Yep, the vision coming in really well here. And the fact that not that much terrain was taken by Happy Seals during their dominant period.
Oh, good Orchid though. He got it off before the Fiend's Grip could complete, but Vol does not have a TP. He's going to have to wait a second for it to be ready, and the Fiend's Grip is ready by then. No boat combo is going to be able to save Vol, and the Torrent's a bit late. Double King himself might be in a bit of trouble. He's actually completely alone, but Alpha don't know that, so they won't chase after him.
Yeah, maybe this is an opportunity for them to make a fast move onto whoever's left in the mid lane.
Could be
but
Razor.
that's still 3 heroes.
Yeah, Flea is going to be disposed of here. Marcy does not have the Unleash, so the burst damage is lacking. Roar as well, used for Double King. So the team fight not looking too clean either for Alpha, but a good arrow from Flea might give them an opportunity to re-engage. Still, though, the TA continues to push top lane. And with the NP dead, it's not so easy for Epic Seals to get in here. They need to get, in fact, back away. The Wild Axe's damage can start to stack up, so they just need to reset and give it another go.
Yep, and by now the TA has returned, so this smoke is a lot riskier than the engagement that they made previously.
Good ward by Pingu. He is going to be caught here, but it'll reveal everyone at least with the ward. Killed off, though. Let's see what the rest of Alpha will look to do. For now, retreat is the name of the game, as the Hawk slows down Tib, trying to force him to use the BKB. There's a little bit more move speed for him, courtesy of the rebound, but still, Happy Seal's unable to catch anything else.
Yeah, and they have to be very careful with how they move, because if they break formation, we've seen that heroes die in the blink of an eye, and this Winter Wyvern does not want to spend her ult on anything less than catching the Beastmaster army.
found, being put to good use here as a Tooth in trouble, being chased by Soul, who has been kited a bit. Tib pops the BKB, but they don't have the burst damage they need to get through the Quap. In trouble now instead is Beastmaster. Does not have a roar, but will have one, pardon me, in 2 seconds as it's Rises, caught by the curse. Good Sonic Wave, pushing back two, right into the Torrent, but BKB for Rises is online. It's ready to go. He tears through the Kunkka as Marcy buys back. Monster using the roar onto Vol is going to isolate the Wyvern. Down she will go as Tib falls as well to Soul. Vol underneath his tier 2 tower cannot escape here as the vision, the traps, and the catch too much for Alpha. Just Skask Marcy as she's being gripped by Pingu to give Soul the rampage. And that is, I mean, just a complete reversal of how this early game was looking.
Yeah, this game got flipped on its head hard, and I'm struggling to think of anything else than the Roshan fight without the BKB, throwing Happy Seals into disarray. And now, yeah, Quap making excellent use of her mobility to get out of all of the spells thrown on her, and a very desperate Winter's Curse. They're trying to bring down the TA, but they just don't have the damage for her, and especially now with that arrow coming in here. And look at Double King. He doesn't have anyone to hit for the first like 5 seconds of this fight. Like he only gets the halberd off, and they overlap it here. They're lining up for all of the AoE damage.
Yep. Yeah, just really nicely done. Wyvern getting caught out here. Tips completely on no BKB. They isolate Vol time and time again here in this game. It ends up just being too difficult here. I trimmed it right at the end of the rampage because how could you not? I didn't really think Soul would be the one doing the damage, you know, at least this much damage and securing this amount of kills in the fights, but at least so far in the early game for a Queen of Pain, when spell damage is as high as it is, it looks really convincing. I think we're starting to hit that time, though, where now the baton is going to be passed here to Rises as he gets not only his BKB, but his Deso damage maxed out. He's going for a second defensive item now in the Lincolns. Yeah, he's going to become a menace.
I'd say he already is. The Grove Bow as well for some extra luck on top. Just feels really good to be a TA right now. Especially versus a Kunkka, Razor, long fight specialists, right? Where they really got to sap the damage first, stain you out first. And she just has so much damage that it really doesn't matter to her.
And speaking of items and a hero that I feel like has not had the same amount of impact, despite Vol just pushing this tier 2 down bottom for free, it is the NP, and I can see his reluctance. I understand his reluctance, rather, to not build a BKB this game. It's just not an item that feels great versus your Beastmasters and your Banes. But he has been getting caught out here pretty easily throughout the game such far. For now, though, it's Monster who finds himself surrounded by enemies as they will attempt to burst through him and finally will do so. The entire team hit with the Rum debuff, though. So for now, Alpha don't look to re-engage. Double King hit with a little bit of the metal damage, but again, just simply no damage there as Ryza showing up the new shard. A big Sonic Wave catches through. They nuke through the Wyvern, and now Marcy's dead. So there's going to be no Winter's Curse for this fight. That releases Ryza to go straight on a Tib, who's going to try and BKB TP away. But surely there was no chance that was ever going to work. Ryza tears into him. Vol abandons the teamfight. He's immediately split pushing the bottom lane. As even now Double King in trouble, Flea leaping left of our screens. They're not even going to wait for the arrow. They're just going to release the Fiend's Grip. A good curse, but it's not going to catch Rises. And that means there's not nearly enough damage with just Pingu laying on into Soul. As Double King is going to TP away, even BKBing for this, but it puts Vol in trouble, who's forced to back from his tier 3 push.
Yeah, these AoE silences from the double shards over on Alpha, both the TA traps as well as the blink from the Queen of Pain, are doing damage. All of these heroes, as soon as their BKBs are down, you don't get to cast anything anymore. You will always be silenced by either one of these two.
Yeah, and just a really good patience by Alpha, who recognize they need to wait to reset. There's 5 heroes that are hit with Rum buff. This Wyvern has a BKB. They're kind of awkwardly in the middle of all 5 of us. You know, like, it was just good patience out from them, kind of realizing they didn't need to immediately make the jump in. They could simply wait until it was their opportune moment to strike. And strike they did. Once again, another team fight win. It could be Flea here caught for free, as he can leap away, of course, but held back by the X mark. Oh, and poor step here and there. He is going to be set back down to the low ground and killed off, but Rises is here with the double damager and trying to tear through Tib, nearly getting him. But he is going to barely make it away. Excuse me, guys, there's a gem on the deck. Atufa is going to go ahead and claim it. Uh-oh, that's a lot of damage coming. Okay, It's not quite one-shot time yet, at least not for Marcy, but two-shot is going to be the Razor as Rises TPs in. I'm sorry, it blinks in after him. We'll pick up that free
He tried
kill.
to TP under a Hawk, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That could have been. I thought it was simply just, guys, I wonder where that plasma field is coming from kind of moment.
I'm pretty sure you got bonked in the noggin there.
That'll
Very unfortunately.
happen. That'll happen. And yeah, just
Thanks, suicidal birds.
it's the worst. It's the worst. You gotta clean them off your windshield all the time. Ugh. You ever see that Birdemic movie, Kips? It's a very, very.
I have not, but is that what that movie is like?
Yeah, basically, it's all the birds. They start diving into people. It's a little spooky. It's like that one scene from Jurassic World where all the birds start coming in and they play the air raid sirens.
Gotcha.
For now, though, air raid
I sat
sirens.
the whole movie along.
It's very quickly going to be sounding in the base of Happy Seals because Rice has just claimed second Aegis. With Shard now, I believe, is going to be. Well, who'd they give it to? The Bane, actually, I believe, who now has this Brain Sap Shard. Why not? He farms a bit faster with it.
I mean, everybody else had their own already. What you gonna do?
Even Flea?
Well, the Murata didn't.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, Leap.
Yeah, this is probably one of the, in my opinion, the worst shards in the game. I
Yeah.
don't think it's very good. It finally has its own effect. It's actually quite pretty. It looks really good. So, you know, as far as cosmetically, it's really A tier. As there's Marcy dying to Rises. But functionally, I just don't think it's that good. Oh no, Tib, he's caught an arrow. Trying to recapture the outpost instead. He finds an arrow to the face. He can BKB, but surely he does not make it out alive. He's not even going to BKB, saving it instead for the buyback that might end up coming shortly. Vol is trying to prevent this. He is pushing down bottom, but they are TP'ing, and after
Everyone's
Pingu
converging.
is searching, and I believe, no, he's just barely doesn't have vision of him, Kips, just by a millimeter. He's going to miss out on catching him there with a Nightmare or a Grip, either or, of course, as the NP has no BKB.
Great little niche use of that sentry ward there. Need some vision in the trees, just plop it down. Hope you're right.
Yeah. It's a really good way of starting fights as well. Rises, by the way, in the meantime, has taken to just starting up starting up the high ground stage. Will BKB off that X mark the spot. Still, of course, has a second life to play with, as it's going to be a major kill there onto the Wyvern. Finish.
That's huge, actually. Now they can just hit buildings.
Yeah, no buyback either on the Wyvern. They may or may not know this, but they're not scared of any damage that's that should be incoming because, of course, of this Wraith Pack Totem. Rises, playing patiently, not willing to jump in. Also has the 25 talent here on this siege, so can push quite confidently, backed by that in Aegis and the Lincolns.
Yep, 7 refraction charges, Aegis, Lincolns. Who cares that he used a BKB, right?
Yeah. He's got plenty of
In the
defensive.
meantime, Vol bot.
Oh, Vol is caught by Soul. Did get at least through a 2-3 tower. He's got buyback, so not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
They will
Effective. Another arrow, though.
yeah, good.
Yeah, it's just
a little bit of dispose, pardon me. It does make a bit of a difference. Rise is being slowed, but again, that's still way too many stacks here of refraction to really care about any of this damage. And he just took your middle barracks. Nothing you could do about it. Almost a double stun there on the dive bomb Hawk. Full holding on to the buyback, not yet releasing it. Soul is running back to join the team fight, so it feels like any good opportunity here for Happy Seals to fight lopsided with a buyback is passed. As there's another arrow. Flea, he's got magnets here attached to Tib as they try and pull back the TA with the tidal wave. It's going to fail, though. It looks like that TA was disarmed alongside the Winter's Curse, so a bit of miscommunication there. And now through the BKB, Double King is going to be gripped. It's not quite enough damage, but the team fight is falling apart around the Happy Seals, and now finally released Rises is doing them in. 4 dead just like that as Vol is just respawned, but he's immediately going to go back bottom. He can't do anything here, Kips.
No, he cannot. He's been waiting for the opportunity and it never came. And it's looking really disconnected on Happy Seals right now.
Oh, another arrow from Flea. That's a buyback on Double King. They need to go back in here. A stun as well. The Tibby does not have BKB for 50 seconds, but guess who does? It's Rises. Soul as well. Makes the jump in. Silences up the Marcy. Double King chased and routed back in. Another arrow from Flea to secure the kill onto the Marcy. And this one is all but over. Kips 31 minutes in. Alpha, they lose the early game, lose lanes, and win game. My goodness.
Yeah. Fat lady singing. triumphantly,
Yes,
I might add.
Bull is, I mean, he's getting build-ins here, but it's
An attempt is being
it's
made.
tier 4s. Oh, Salacious Sea Lion in trouble. Silence up, couldn't get the curse off, didn't have it for 10 seconds anyway. There's going to be a good effort here as well, but Vol TP's back in, immediately dies. Probably not even going to buy back. No point to it. It's Double King's now going to die back, and that will be game 1. Hands of Alpha.
Demonstratively so. After what looked to be a little bit of a rocky start, but that flip on the Roshan fight, and then the acceleration, like everything from like the